God, I really hope this works. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I'm gonna get on the bike, start pedaling. It's weird because I'm like here. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. That's my only concern, because that was the one thing that really just lugged out last time with Alex. So if you can hear me, thumbs up, and I'll start the ride. This is progress, this is success. Oh, it's echoing. That might be better. That might be better. Hopefully. Let me know. Right. Zwift's ready. YouTube's ready. Sound's ready. I'm ready. We are just a few minutes from it starting. You will have to bear with me. I said my fitness is below 0, and I'm not lying. It's you might have seen from socials I had to go back to New Zealand quite unexpectedly, and I'm still just battling with jet lag. Not so much me, but Juliet's been having really broken sleep. Bless her, she's an absolute trooper, having come that whole way with me. But I feel like I've really lacked on the fitness front in the last couple of weeks, so this is going to be good. Thanks for coming along. See, we're just about to head off on that virtual start line, and here we go. Yay! Alright, so the aim of this is that we're nice and cruisy. There is no winners and losers in this group ride. You're a winner because you turned up. We've got a couple of efforts in it that Alex has set. I did ask him to be gentle, so hopefully we've got just a nice cruisy pedal. I will be talking to myself mainly, but I can see your comments on YouTube. I can't do anything on the Zwift app. My talents do not extend to multiple devices, but I don't know if anyone has read Akatar. If you know, you know. But I'm wearing my nerdy Akatar t-shirt in the hope that I may connect with some other book nerds. But it has been one of the best book series I've read in a long time, and I am not a sci-fi person. I am not into fairies and dragons and the different realms and worlds. Oh, I should really pick up the pace, sorry. I also need to keep an eye on Zwift so that this is what happens on a ride. You just start chatting and kind of lose your concentration on the numbers that you're supposed to be hitting. So I'm just going to settle in at a nice 35 watts. And I'm going to try and... I'm just bumping up now. I always struggle a little bit on Zwift to hit the exact number. I don't know if anyone else has that problem, like being just under it or being just over it. What bike has helped, it's definitely easier on this than it is on when I was on my bike connected to the turbo trainer. But yeah, it's a real gripe of mine. because you want to sit at the right number. Okay. Right, we're all here. Do a number off system. So I'm riding from Essex in the UK. We're midsummer and it's raining quite heavily now. I don't know if we've got anyone, although I came from winter in New Zealand and that was bloody freezing. It was like the depths of winter, as in like frost on your windshield. But we're actually going back to NZ for November, December when it's summer. So I kind of feel like I get a little bit of a double summer this year. Right, hey, look at our bunch. Look at us go. Over the weekend, since no one asked, I will tell you about my weekend. So landed in the UK from New Zealand on Thursday. We left New Zealand Tuesday, landed Thursday. Struggled to stay awake because we got in at 6 that morning. And then Saturday went out to France to watch the first stage of the Tour de Femmes avec Zwift. I kept calling it the Female Tour de France, which is not what it should be known as, but that is essentially what it is. And yeah, we were in Clermont-Ferrand in France, very picturesque French village, and we saw Lottie Kopecky take her solo. It was epic. And so I worked at the Tour de France 4 years ago, the men's one, did the whole thing, worked for ASO, and the crowds that were phenomenal. Like you couldn't move in the crowds on the opening and closing parts of that stage. And saw the women's stage last year, and it was busy because it was in Paris on the day that the men's finished, but wasn't stacked. But this year, in this picturesque village near southish of France, sort of mid-France, it was rammed. Like shoulder to shoulder people for the departure village and the finish line, and I just looked out and I was like, this is so fucking cool. This is what it's about. So buzzing a little bit with female cycling. Kind of feels like, every year there's steps being taken that are getting it in the right place. Still by no stretch anywhere near where it should be, but it's getting there, which is cool. We are partially through this nice warm up here. Don't know what these efforts are going to look like, but here we are. Thanks again for joining me on this. I get really nervous live streaming. The technical side of it's one thing, but it's also like, is anyone going to show up? Does anyone want to hear me ramble along? Does anyone want to ride with me? And here we are. And it's really nice to have you here. Thanks for coming along. My fingers crossed that my child stays sleeping for the foreseeable 43 minutes we've got left. But she's crashing pretty hard at the moment with the jet lag. And school holidays. Man, if you're a parent and you're wrangling in school holidays at the moment, hats off to you. She's in a holiday program, but still just kind of finding like additional activities and amongst, all the kind of usual haunts we'd go to, parks and play areas, we're all just so rammed now with it being holidays. Which is like a good and bad thing. Getting a little bit carried away here. I'm getting a little bit hot now, so the Akatar t-shirt can come off. This is kind of the segment that OnlyFans would see. Do you know, I did read the other day of a OnlyFans creator who is making £300,000 a month. And I was like, god damn, like kudos to her. That's a sizable salary for content creation, which is what it is. And apparently, she started in lockdown, which apparently a load of people did as well. Personally, no, I'm not on OnlyFans, but I like hearing about women that are doing well off it. Alright, sitting at 70 watts here, not far away from our first interval. And we'll just settle in. Pre-going to New Zealand, I was at Glastonbury for 4 glorious days. It was at Glastonbury, and then I sat and had a real think about my age, because I was in bed each night, probably just before midnight, with my Kindle in my little tent, having had a hot shower and settling in. And loads of people are on this, obviously, Glastonbury, you can go out till 6, 7 in the morning if you want to. There's a load of stuff. There's also people there that took kids. I was like, good for you. I personally probably couldn't handle that kind of environment with a pram and a toddler to take care of, but it was, I don't know, last time I went was 2017, and there were 50,000 less people, so they've increased the tickets since that original period I went, and it was just that bit busier. Like if you're going to enjoy the music, which is all the acts this year I really wanted to see, there were so many just really good musicians there, and for 85% of them, the only thing I could see was someone's back, like in front of me. Whereas the first time round, it just felt that you had a lot more space. You could really enjoy just the festival vibe. So I don't know if anyone else went to Glastonbury and found the same thing, but it was probably there that I was, one, grateful for my fitness, that kind of allowed me to walk around 50,000 steps a day with no real problems and climb up a massive hill at the end of each night. But it was also there that I was like, you know what, I'm quite happy to not be out until 5 in the morning anymore. I'm, quite happy to actually take it a little bit easier and be here for the music and retire at the end of the night when things are done. I've just realised I don't have my fan on, which is Alex's biggest gripe when I do these rides. Okay, sorry, should have said. We're coming into a effort. So this is where I struggle to just maintain the right amount of power. I'm trying to hit 150. You know, it's like that mental thing with Zwift, you really want to get that star. That was short and sharp. And now cruising back down. I don't have the fan on, but I do have the window open. And silly me, because I am getting a bit warm, should have stolen Alex's special indoor training suit thing that has ice in it. I should know the name of it. The Nopins thing, suit. But this window's gonna have to make do. I'm obviously on a watt bike. You can see, I cannot tell you how ridiculous it used to be trying to get my bike on and off, because it was an e-bike. Turbo trainers and I are at the best of times not great friends, especially if Alex was away, because that kind of bike tinkering I tend to leave to him. So having something as a permanent setup shit me as a game changer. I've opted to leave mine so I don't need cycling shoes in it, and that's out of laziness because I have one pair of cycling shoes and I feel like I'd forever be looking for them between like the garage, downstairs, upstairs, so it's quite good. I'm just locked and loaded in the little Velcro bits, not Velcro, the little cages on my feet. True story, I had left, this is when we lived in Andorra, I'd left my cycling shoes in the UK, and this was when I was training for the Ironman, and I had to I had to do a session on the bike. So I had my trainers on. There were no, obviously, cages on my pedals on the bike. So I used duct tape and just really wound it around tight. And I did my session with taped up trainers on pedals. So if you ever find yourself in that position, rest assured it does work. So you're all doing really well. If anyone else is finding this hopefully not hard, because this is aimed if it's a rest day, or if you're at quite low level of fitness like myself, but yeah, want to be able to keep a conversational tone. I am starting next week. If anyone wants to join me, I'm starting a challenge that aims to get you 10% fitter. It's through Wattbike, and it's perfectly timed because our wedding is in a little less than 10 weeks now. So yeah, it's a big claim, but the science is there. If you follow the sessions, you come out of it 10% fitter. So I am starting that next week, and I am hoping that my numbers just before the wedding will be in peak fitness again, possibly like pre-Ironman levels, and in turn I'll be lean and strong and ready to take on wedding week. I was thinking, because so many people at the moment are asking, how's the wedding planning going? And I'm like, it's terrible. It is fucking terrible, because there are so many little things to weddings that I just don't have time for, and sort of so many like etiquette things. So I recently, back in April, had to cut gluten out of my diet as a result of some blood testing, and I don't eat pork. And I was sort of sitting there, I was like, so is it fair to make the entire wedding catering gluten-free and no pork? We're getting married in Spain, which is, heavy on the jamon, the bacon and ham. And I did see on TikTok a bride that her entire wedding was gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, and vegan. And it made headlines for all those reasons. But I was like, I don't think it's fair to subject your guests to your way of eating, or is it? Because they're your guests. I don't know. But also, it's Alex's wedding too, and he eats gluten and also eats pork. So yeah, there'll be a nice, happy medium there on the menu of something for everyone. But yeah, napkin. Right. Hit it, gang, because this is a short one. Don't go in too excited, like I've just done. But it's short and sharp again. Look at that. Hit those numbers. Not long. Hold it here for a little bit longer. Why are my numbers dropping? There, back to the go. Got so caught up babbling about the wedding, missed the little notification saying here comes our next effort. Hope you're finding these alright. Might be time for a little water break. Wedding, not my jam, not my scene. I know some people love it, and some people really get involved in all of those little details. But we've ticked off kind of the main things, like we've got a venue, we've got food, we've got a band, and we've got a bucket load of alcohol. And I feel like everything else will just fall into place. So, we actually have a photographer now, so feel like those are the kind of key things. Still looking for a videographer, still getting hair and makeup sorted, still getting all the kind of side parts of accommodation and travel and logistics. But yeah, the venue we've got is a shell, so we have to hire in everything. And you know, they're like, do you need foot puffs? What? Foot puffs for the chill out zone, so if people need to put their feet up. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, do you need foot puffs? Can we not just have picnic rugs and bean bags? But yeah, if you have had a wedding and live to tell the tale, and also maybe didn't get into the nitty gritty parts, tell me that the day is going to be amazing. Also still trying to figure out where to honeymoon. We only have a really short window because life is very crazy, chaotic and busy. But we've got 4 weeks, I wish. We have 4 days. We have a window of 4 days where we'll be child free, and we're going to be over like Australia, New Zealand way. So I'm sort of looking at where could be a good hideaway. I am when I holiday, I like to just relax, as in I will happily wail by the pool, read my book, and sip away on cocktails for all the days. That's my ideal holiday. Alex is an active relaxer, so he will do what I've just described for about 45 minutes, and then he's like, right, where are we going? What are we doing? We're going to scuba dive, we're going to go kayaking, we're going to take the boat out, and he's very much wants to do stuff. So we need something that can maybe tick those boxes. I've just seen someone said Southend-on-Sea for honeymoon, legend. I actually like Southend-on-Sea. It's somewhere that I have not explored enough, given it's only like on the doorstep. But there is so much of Essex and the UK that I am yet to discover. Purely I think because when I lived in London, I stayed in London. Like the only time I left London was to go to an airport to go to Europe. And I met Alex and I came out to Essex, and he wasn't the best person to sort of show me around or integrate me into Essex, because he was never bloody here, because he was a professional cyclist and he was away like 200 days of the year. So, and then we moved our life obviously to Europe, and now we're back, and Alex is no longer professional in the world tour, but still seems to have a stupid amount of days away with various other commitments. I am trying to do things that take me to different places around. Oh, God, see, just get chilling. Here we go. This is a slightly longer one. So we just need to kick it up a notch, which I seem to be struggling to do and hold. Don't know why. This must be what hotel feels like sprinting. What is this? My numbers are all over the show. I feel like I am going to not be getting stars this time round. And we're through the arch. Okay. There we go. Whee. Short, sharp. Yeah. I like that. I think the next one is a little bit longer, but not as sharper. But still just, yeah, numbers all over the show. Confess it's been a while since I have been on Zwift. Normally when I get on the watt bike, I plug into a movie or a TV series or a podcast, and I just ride. I don't know, when I did training for the Ironman, I had a 5.5 hour session on the bike. Not even, well, I didn't have a watt bike then, I had my e-bike set up on the turbo trainer, and that was grim. That was so grim. And I watched back-to-back Twilight because I just wanted to revisit my 17-year-old self, really immerse in the Edward Cullen fantasy world, and that was how I managed to get through that long session. But I am curious as to what the longest session you've done on a stationary bike is, because actually chatting to people, maybe in the triathlon world, it's not uncommon. People do put in some serious time on stationary bikes. Whereas, yeah, if I'm doing a really long session, I would always try and do it outside, but obviously in winter, and sometimes it's just easier, like, you know, especially with the little one, that you can just get on something that's ready to go. You don't have the faff of getting the bike sorted and kitting up and getting out the door. So I actually, yeah, ride quite a bit at night. Not for 5.5 hours, but like a 20-minute, 30-minute session is just bang on. Slide it into the day when it's busy, especially when Alex isn't here, and I'm solo parenting, and it's a good time. But I have been getting mum guilt for particularly this last couple of weeks, just with, yeah, taking her back to New Zealand, which wasn't a super fun trip for her. Obviously she loves seeing her New Zealand family, and like my parents just adore her, they dote on her, she's their only grandchild, so it's hard, they miss out on a lot. But I was there with a terminally ill family member, and I think like we're spending every day in the rest home. You know, it was tough, and then, you know, it's a massive upheaval from her routine, flying, all of that, and then when we got back, Alex and I had to go straight away to France because it had already been organised months before. It was prior commitment, and then this week, yeah, the nursery she normally goes to is closed for term time, so it's just been a bit of an upheaval, and I'm feeling a bit guilty that she kind of has to adapt to all these different situations. But kids are remarkably resilient, which is what I keep telling myself, and you know, everything we do is in turn for her to kind of better her life and our life as a family. But yeah, when she does see me on the bike or if I'm going out for a run, I think that's so important that she sees just health and fitness kind of inbuilt into our everyday, because it is. It is literally part of what we do, and at the moment I'm waking up so early, and when Alex is here, we're managing to run to the gym, do a session and run home, and then yeah, jumping on the bike as and when. Haven't managed to get outdoors on a bike for a while. We do the school drop off on a bike, but yeah, just jumping on this at night. It's good. I did miss it. I miss that feeling of being fit. Oh, a little bit more power, we're in the green. So this is a bit longer, but should be tailored to something that's more than doable for you and me. So cruising now. I'm actually glad it's raining because Alex in his retirement has become slightly obsessed with gardening. Now, there are far worse things to have an obsession over, but he's planted a load of shrubs and trees and doing really nice just outdoor landscaping. And when he left, he's in Wales this week, when he left he was under strict instructions to try and water it each day, you know, because we want the plants to thrive. I did water them this morning, but I never know like how thirsty plants get, how long should you water them. These are new trees. Do new trees need far more tender love and care than something that's been more established? But the rain's still coming down, so I feel like they're going to be getting a good drink. Speaking of, you can see Alex is on the chat. You should ask him about his trees. He's very proud of them. They're great looking trees. He is manning the chat for obvious reasons. I can't see because my eyesight is clearly failing, but I can see there's a bit of chat going on. So, hey, I might get down on the planes, have a little breather just before you know you're getting hot and sweaty when you get that chin sweat. It's really nice. Just feel a little drip coming in. Imagine it must be what a beard feels like. But yeah, I don't know, are you inside or outside house proud? Because the inside of our house looks like a bomb's gone off still because we're in the process of repainting and having joinery put in, and you know there's boxes that we still haven't unpacked because there's no shelves to put things on. Whereas outside now it's looking immaculate. It's looking really, really good. But inside I feel like I'm constantly making a mental note of things that need to be tidied up, but it seems to be like chicken before the egg situation. You know, the painter's like, no, I'll come in after the joiner's been, and the joiner goes, no, I'll come in after the electrician's been, and still go, who's doing what, and you know, how does that work? We have a light switch that needs to be moved 8 centimeters, and thermostat, and then the electrician is like, I don't know if I can do thermostat, and then the joiner is like, well, I need to come back and measure up once the light's been moved, and yeah, it's all those finicky little things that seem to be just administration, you know. Again, I don't have time in my day for doing measuring light switches and checking off. Like the joiner came and measured up, and he's like, are the measurements, are you happy with the measurements? I was like, I mean, yeah man, this is what you do day in, day out. I can put a ruler on our wall and measure it, but he did it all with certainty. I guess they've got to double check, triple check everything off. But I'm excited because this space, cycle space, will hopefully over the next probably year start to take shape. Our main thing was our 2 watt bikes in here, and so sometimes you'll see them side by side, sometimes one's on the far end. Obviously we got a lot of flack for the TV behind me. People are like, you're facing the wrong way, but TV doesn't work, and even if it did, it's nicer to always be able to chat to you. I'm under the window when we're side by side, so I can't sort of stretch up. But we have that, I guess you want to live somewhere for a while and make changes as you go rather than trying to do it all at once. And then, you know, as time passes you might think, oh actually, maybe I want to change this part of the house, or I don't like that colour, or hey, actually a shelf here would be really useful. So we've only just managed to get some desks put in the office, which is helpful because trying to work at the kitchen table, I mostly work from home. I only go into the office probably once a fortnight, and working from the kitchen table, I mean, proximity to the fridge is great. It just means snacks are constantly on hand throughout the day. But having an actual workspace, I think will make such a difference. Someone is just saying, Alex in his garden with his slippers on, watching something, and I'm out running laps of Essex. Possibly not far off, you know? I did get a shock. I will call it a shock because in the 6 years we've been together, I'd never seen it before. It was completely new. And it was the night before a time trial, and I walked into the kitchen, 10 o'clock, Saturday night. Alex is standing over the stove with a pot of boiling water, and he's boiling bike chains. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And is that going to leave grease on my pot? And apparently it makes it go faster or smoother. Do you know what? I don't actually know what it does. But he was doing that on Saturday night, and apparently it's quite normal, but I guess when he was riding, the team used to do that for him. So, you know, fun, strange things that your partner does around the house that can become normalised. Boiling bike chains is one of them. And surprisingly, so many people online said that they do the same thing. So it is not uncommon. In the cycling community, it is very accepted, celebrated. It's normal. So I'm now trying to chalk off things in the house that I've become normalised to, have just become accustomed to, that are very cycling specific, that someone else coming in would go, what the hell is that? Or why are you doing that? The first one is like, if you come into a house and there's more bikes than people in the house, you're like, okay, there's a hobby, there's something going on here. Having a dedicated drawer just to gels and bars and hydration and all of the kind of on-bike fuel. That's another one. He can help me out. I mean, we obviously have a space now. Luckily, because the last couple of years, our apartment in Andorra was a little tight. I was constantly shuffling bikes around, and as I was saying, like pain in the ass with putting bikes on turbo trainers and taking off and trying to maximise the small amount of space we had. Actually having a space now where we have a full setup is primo. Yeah, some of those, just those little cycling things that have become part of my everyday. Having a washing bin just for kit. So, as I said, obviously Alex is retired now and he's still riding loads, which means there's still loads of kit. And obviously I go through kit. I go through running kit, through cycling kit, gym kit. So having a dedicated laundry bin just for all that. Right guys, I just realised, so sorry that we've been in an effort and I have been just rambling away. Hope that you've found this one okay. This really shouldn't be too much higher than your warm-up and kind of cruise control. What probably time for another water break. Got a donut downstairs ready for after this ride. Obviously, call it a cafe ride, and there really does need to be an element of actual cafe in this. I know the pace is probably on par with a cafe like Weekend Poodle, but need that cake. That's pretty much why I got into this like road cycling scene, is that I like the idea of the social side where you get on your bike and you ride to a destination that has cake and coffee, and yeah, you enjoy it with people that get that sense of earning it, isn't it? You like to pedal out, have a chat as you go. It's nice. I'm hoping to reconnect with that community out here as well, like getting out and about cafe rides. Alex and I could ride an Andorra together if I was on the e-bike and he was just out for a normal ride, whereas here, because it's so flat, the e-bike doesn't really help. I'd have to be tethered to him to be able to kind of keep up. We enjoy our rides to and from school when we take Juliet, but it's not quite a cafe ride, as in there's no cake involved. But anyway, coming back to that donut in the kitchen, that's going to be a good time after this. So maybe you have something also waiting for you. Oh gosh, we're actually not far off finishing, team. That has gone really quickly. Just then, I'm hoping that you won't be able to see how few stars that I've probably earned in this. Hoping that you've got some more. Something I will be, something I will endeavour to work on for the next one is actually just sitting on that bloody number, not being over, not being under, just really nailing it. A lot of referencing to gardening. Someone's just said, when we first met, and Alex said, I'm a professional cyclist. Did you know he was a Tour de France pro? Did you think he was a weekend warrior type pro? Mate, I thought he was a courier. I thought he was delivering food. I didn't know there was a Tour de France type, and I didn't know there was a weekend warrior type. I just knew there was a man that delivered pizza on a bike in my area. And having moved from New Zealand to London, Deliveroo and Uber Eats was like mind-blowing. And they all got delivered on bikes. So he said he was a professional cyclist. That's where my mind went. I did know of a cyclist called Lance Armstrong. I did know that there was a Tour de France. I had no idea that it was 3 weeks long. I thought it was a single race. And that was it. That was my kind of extent. New Zealand had a load of successful track cyclists. So I knew there was the indoor velodrome type, but yeah, Alex was a completely different planet that I had to get on a rocket ship and join. But here we are many years later, and I like that people always assume it was Alex who got me into cycling, but I was cycling long before he came along. I just like to say I wasn't maybe cycling well. I was hooning around London with a ski helmet on as a helmet, and I had my bike that I got off Gumtree, 50 pounds, and I was commuting, and it was the single best way that I discovered London and kind of got my bearings in a new place. And I think, Alex got me into like the road cycling part of it, introduced me to Lycra, because I would normally wear just like, I don't know, normal clothes. Didn't realise that could get padded shorts, and it makes all the difference. But he got me into, I guess, the slightly more detailed part of cycling, and taught me how to ride on a bike with skinny wheels, otherwise known as a road bike, and how to use clip-ins. But yeah, that love of pedaling was always there, just maybe needed to be drilled down a bit. But yeah, probably didn't ever think I'd have a stationary bike in my house, and didn't think I would be as over the moon about it as I am. But just having that access to easy fitness and easy movement, just being able to jump on and go, yeah, it's a good time. Yeah. Anyway, we are just about in that cool down period. This has been a real delight, and I thank Senor for putting together a session that really didn't bite me in the ass. I was worried. I was like, in some sadistic turn of events, are you going to really put me through my paces and the public can see me disintegrate into the floor with my lack of fitness? But we're all good. We are all good. These numbers have been doable, nice, cruisy. I'm gonna eat my donut and go to bed after this. I don't know if you're joining from across the pond where I was last week. We're right now just be starting the day, whereas we are finishing. I still feel just quite rinsed, had 2 full days of work yesterday and today, and as I was rambling on about before, the jet lag is still a bit of a thing. So I'm hoping just over the next few weeks things will settle down, routine will be built again. As I mentioned, hold my hand through this 10% fitter challenge. I am intrigued, I am very, very intrigued to see how it goes, to see if I can hit that 10% improvement. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to do, and it's also hopefully going to help in those wedding preparations. Alright, that is us. Just going to do a quick little stretch. I actually filmed a reel earlier about stretching because I used to think I knew better, and I was like, I don't need to stretch. And as I'm getting older and sort of things aren't working the way they used to, stretching is a really important part of the fitness and exercise journey. I feel like I'm gonna maybe come around this side. Ooh. But just nice and easy on the quads. Again, good thing about having this bad boy permanently set up, it's actually a really good stretching frame. This is quite a short version, but put that leg up and just open up your hip flexors here. And this side. And then if you want to come round behind the bike and just hold on to your saddle, like so, back it on up, and then really push back. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. I will see you next time. Thank you again for coming along. Alex will be hosting the next one, so he will resume normal duties. Sorry that this is on his channel. If you signed on and you were like, where's Alex? I logged out of my own. I don't know why I put a request into live stream and somehow shut myself out. So Hope you have a nice night. Hope that there's a donut waiting for you, and if not, maybe think about that for next time. And have a really good week, guys. Yeah. See you later.